Hello, my friends. Hello, hello, hello. Oh my goodness. Hopefully I can see here. I know Facebook has changed so much since I swear I've done. Oh, let me know if you guys are on, if you can hear me okay. And I'm going to see if I can figure out how to actually see your comments because it feels like it's shifted. Or I might just be chatting away. Thanks for waiting for me. I got to enjoy. You guys can see this is in my new space that I've got. My pool, literally, the kitchen. I can dive right out. You know, you're in the kitchen and you're like, hey, you know what? I just want to dive right into the pool. It's possible. It's right here. I actually did it the first night that I was here, but I was doing my morning routine. Actually, let me just grab my water as we're letting peeps jump on, and I'll tell you why I was inspired to share this morning, why this kind of came up. Yay, I can see my peeps on. Oh, Bobby, yay, that way I know it's working. Can you hear me okay, my loves? Let me just grab my water. So, and you look, we'll get a little quick view of my altar. This is my current altar right now. That's my altar. So I'll talk a little bit about that. I had this morning as I was doing my routine, my morning spiritual practices and everything, I just kept getting these intense downloads to share, to be able to kind of dive into this. And there's a couple of things that I wanted to dive into, which has been, you know, on timeline hopping. And so I thought, hell, let's do it all, right? Let's just share it all. So hi, my loves. I'll give it a second. Let me see if I can, I'm going to play with this for a moment and see if I can set this up so I can, see you guys. Or maybe make this a little bit more easier for me to just chat with you. So I've got wet swim hair. I got to do my little dive in the pool. And again, I just kept getting these downloads to share. And I still had my naked swim time. So I'm a little dripping wet, but was just like, let's do this. So this is the main thing I want to really kind of share. This has been really powerful lately because even as I went through the 11-month reporter, you guys might be able to hear my voice has just barely been on the bridge of coming back, because even through the all the frequency shifts and all the changes happening on the planet, I feel it pretty intensely. And it's been coming through really strong on how do we align ourselves to timeline hop into our new reality now. Because I'm just going to briefly touch base on this, even though this is like a whole, you know, a whole big understanding in of itself that I'm sure I want to dive into at one point. But we literally right now have two realities that could exist, okay? And there's multiple timelines that can always exist. Yet we've been, you know, we've got the whole collective that has been, you know, you see from the movies about the world's going to end to, you know, the fear-based mentality of how the world's going down. There's a strong collective field and holding a vibrational field that the world's going to end. And at the same time, there's those of us who choose to operate in a high vibrational frequency that is holding the field for the new earth, the new human, which is we rise together in love, and we rise together the frequency of, you know, allness, and upgrade our frequency, which is above the collective. What we do is we hold that field, that the more people that awaken to the possibility of a new earth and operating from this place, we get rid of scarcity, we get rid of sickness, we get rid of all these things. So the more people awaken to their frequency and their frequency that feels good, the more this reality becomes our possibility of the new earth frequency versus a destruction frequency. And that can happen too. The earth can totally be destroyed and we get burned and all those things so that we clear the path for the new uprising. And it can go either way. I choose to learn through bliss and joy and peace and harmony and grace and prosperity and all these things. And I gave up a long time ago that I had to do it through hardship and struggle. So, you know, this is, I guess, you know, even though this morning as I was doing my morning routine, it was kind of like wanting to share on these things or wanting to touch base on these things. Really what it's about is upgrading your frequency daily. Yes, there's tools and patterns and behaviors to, you know, like so many of us that are striving for a different life. We're like, okay, I'll just do this thing. But then it's more of like I've got to, it's like a have to or a maintenance, or instead of when you see it as the discovery of yourself, of what allows you to feel the most good, what allows you to align with your desires and your processes every day being literally like a love language to yourself, like a luscious love affair with yourself. As you give yourself these practices every single day, you feel good and you're now holding a different field and a vibrational frequency. So I kind of want to touch base on, yeah, a lot of the things that I do every day to upgrade my frequency, even down to like, you know, if you always look at me, it's like, I mean, I've got moon beads on from a spiritual mentor that's from John of God. That was a gift. I've got a very sacred crystal, and I always am wearing, even with this on, I'm always wearing my divinity key, which is my frequency alliance company, which is constantly feeding my body with the highest vibrational frequencies. I usually always have them all on. This one actually was blessed by Swami G himself. And I'm always wearing, this is actually protecting my auric field. This is like my creation bracelet from Damanhur, Italy, which is the esoteric healing and one of the highest vibrational places in the world. I'm always looking at how do I hold a vibrational frequency of the reality that I want to exist in. From the things that I wear to notice how I want you to see how much this breaks down into even the things you're seeing, the things you're willing to say. Because the rest of the world will be like, oh, that's just the way everybody talks. Where I know that everything in my operating system that is speaking to something that is a declaration or an energy, if all things are energy, the whole idea is you're going to receive the reality you want based on the overall energy that you're exuding, right? So you think about every single thing that is creating the frequency of you. And so how can we upgrade that frequency? But there's a couple disconnects here. This is why I felt like I wanted to kind of go into, you know, some understandings around like whether it be your routines that you do, but the disconnects that we have, because each moment seeds your reality. Okay, so take that in for a second. Each moment seeds your reality. So again, how you choose to respond to life is what you get next, right? So everything that you are doing is creating your current reality. Okay, so it's like whatever whatever I've been doing is continually showing up right in front of me. And this is what's so cool and so powerful when you realize the gift of it is that you have the power in every moment to shift the reality. So I want to give you some ideas around not only ways to upgrade, but also how you actually timeline shift. How can you weave a new timeline into your reality right now? So there's a couple things. If we're going to talk about, let's break it down into some ways that you can upgrade your frequency and every single day align to the cells of your being operating in a high frequency, okay? And so as I was saying, there's like morning routines, there's all these things, and most people are doing them with a frequency that is like, okay, you know, if I do this, I'm going to get a better life. Okay, now notice that frequency. It's kind of like when people are understand that what they have to accept, you know, they get the understanding that, okay, yeah, I got to accept what I'm in for it to shift and change. There's the mental construct of it. So people go, oh, I accept this, I accept this, I accept this. Did it change yet? Guess what? That's not real acceptance. Like true radical self-acceptance is literally the feeling of loving what you're in and seeing the gift for it. So there's a big difference in going, I accept it. Has it changed? Because I don't really like it. And like, you know what? Thank you. What is here for me? It's the kind of the same mentality I feel or see with people who are like, well, I'm doing my affirmations, I'm doing my declarations, I'm doing my meditation every day. How the fuck is it not working? Why is this not showing up? And it's because it's more of this idea of like, if I do this thing, then it should show up. And that is a massive disconnect in our self-empowerment world. And that's why I've always been like, surface self-empowerment is kind of bullshit, because we're missing all the underlying gaps that create the connection to shifting your reality, to manifesting something different. It's not a to-do, and it's not a thing. It's not outside of you. It is inside of you. And so until you are one with the meditation, until you are one with that affirmation, meaning you feel it and believe it in every inch of your being in your cells, now, of course, you're like, well, how the hell am I going to do that when I believe life is hard and it sucked? And your reality around you, this is why people struggle. The reality around you, my friends, I get it. You're like, but everything around me is the reflection of hardship or sacrifice or maybe lack of abundance, or, you know, relationships are hard or whatever it is. And if that's the reality now, how can I feel and believe inside me that something else is different and create a different reality in front of me? So these are kind of some things that I want to break down and dive into just a little bit. And I love you guys. Thank you for the hearts. Maria, my gorgeous babes, it's so good to see your face. Okay, so, and talk about some amazing frequency beings. Maria is like a goddess of divine frequency. So if you don't know who she is, definitely follow her too. So let's break this down. I believe that I'll bring it down into more practices, okay? Thank you, love. I love you. Oh, thank you, sister. So I want to break this down into some practices, and then let's look at how to make those practices actually align to the energy that is going to create a different reality and allow you to feel it and to be the true frequency versus the old underlying frequency that's actually magnifying more. So if we're going to talk about practices, I believe that your day starts the night before. This is for me, morning routine actually starts the night before. I have a nighttime routine that I teach where it's like there's two concepts I'll give you, and you know you can find much more information on this, and I'll lead you to some different ways to give you more of the steps to this if you want, but I'm going to go through this really quickly. Number one is I always do a breakdown, a breakthrough process with my little girl every single night. It's like I give myself the space to do a check-in, like, hey sweetie, how you doing, babes? Like is there anything else? Is there anything from today that you want to express? Is there anything that gets to be heard or felt or seen that you want to acknowledge? Because this is giving myself the space, all the little things that could happen during the day that could create any type of, like, our mental game is to kind of like bypass or not see or really feel. I mean, any subtle energies, those are operating in your system. That is one of the biggest things that's going out in your frequency. And so when I just give the space to go, is there anything that gets to be heard or felt or seen? And I'm honoring my little girl, who is the one that's running my life, because your little boy, little girl that learned all your behaviors and all your programming and everything started from pre 7 years old. That is where all your unconscious programs and commitments are from. And so until again, you're connected to all of you and what's inside you, then, and I'm an adult and I'm going to do these behavioral games, and we're operating in a very masculine society, which is like action, go, produce, move. And there's a massive disconnect on the feminine flow and the feeling of it and the ability to receive it, because it works together. All this feels good, so I'll do this out of inspired action to then receive it. So until your little child is involved, which is the whole entire feeling center, running all your emotional centers, all your subconscious beliefs, all of those programs is connected to this little boy or girl inside you. So I give myself the space to say anything else that gets to be seen or heard. And it might be like, oh, you know what? I noticed today that, you know, this felt not so good, or that thought came up for me. It's like, oh, interesting. And I go through my 5 steps, which I teach, which I have in my Freedom Activators. It's literally like a $30 product that walks through how to consciously walk through anything, overcome sabotage, always be able to walk through anything unconsciously to consciously. So that is a high recommendation, which I can share with you guys if you don't know what I'm talking about with the 5 steps. But the 5 steps, a basic run through is like, oh, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Well, what do I want to feel and create? Like, what do I want in this circumstance? And then I'm moving into, and guys, this is actually the 5 steps is I realize this is the exact same steps of timeline hopping, which I'll get more clear on. But it's like I move into, well, what is the new thought, perception, belief system that I am now choosing to align to? What's a new reality? If I'm seeing in front of me scarcity, if I continue to believe scarcity, then that's what I'm going to experience. Instead, I get to believe, no, look at all the abundance everywhere. Because guess what? This is a whole thing I could go off on. Scarcity is a fucking lie. Scarcity is a lie. It's actually something I've been wanting to dive into for a bit, and I'm sure I'll get to. But because really, when we look around, abundance is everywhere. Nature never stops producing. You don't, go to an apple tree and be like, I heard there's scarcity, there's not enough. Is there not enough? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm producing plenty of apples. The sun rises every day. You know that the sun is going to rise every day, right? You know it's going to rise. You don't, oh, I think the sun's going to rise tomorrow. And if the clouds show up, you don't go into panic and go, oh my God, the sun disappeared. The sun's not coming back. Even if it's cloudy for a couple days raining, you know the sun's coming back, right? So knowing that instead, when you look around to the reality, so the new action or the new belief and perceptions, oh, let me look around. If I'm feeling scarcity, let me actually look around and look for abundance. How am I abundant? How am I so fully supported? How do I have amazing friends in my life? How do I have resources to everything that I could require to understand or to, create new practices to have a different reality? How am I so abundantly supported? Because abundance is everywhere, because love is everywhere, and love energy is creation energy. So when I actually break it down, it's like, oh, scarcity is a lie. It's not even there. What do I now choose to believe? Okay, and one other aspect to this I'll give you really quick, guys, is this was huge for me when I realized that I kept attracting like men into my life that I had to teach how to make money, or there was things that would pop into my field around scarcity, even though I was a $1 million coach and I built a multi-million-dollar empire and I had several companies. it was like, and so everything in your hologram is a reflection. Everything you take responsibility for, and everything as a collective, we're all healing. We all chose in on this. So as I was like, why, and I got curious about this, like where, and I noticed there was resistance to scarcity. Now, as a highly evolved being, I'm like, well, of course, because I believe I'm fully abundant and I'm fully worthy. Well, what I realized is I was judging myself for when I was in scarcity. See, if I was like, oh, as I again go through the process to heal what's underneath and the underlying frequency of what's there, because if every day, and this is the reason I'm going somewhere so different, guys, because again, it just funnels through. It's just, it is. If I go into, okay, guys, here's daily practices for you to do, and every day you're wearing your mall and you're like, oh, you know, you're doing whatever you're doing, but even if you're like, I'm abundant, I'm prosperous, I'm receiving money every day, but deep down, your little girl still believes that, you know, she's not enough if she doesn't have a certain level of money or a certain reflection of abundance, and scarcity is something she rejects and does not love, or there's a judgment about the self if it's not showing up a certain way, which is conditional training. It's domestication. All it says is I'm not worthy and I'm not enough unless I have abundance. So you're sitting here doing your chant, I'm receiving money every day, I'm so prosperous, and you might even be doing it with feeling, and all these things that you're taught is the way to create and manifest, you know, and create a different reality. And yet what's actually underneath down here is saying, if I don't create this money, I'm not enough. You know, I'll live at home with my mother and I'll never, you know, attract the right person, or, you know, I'll suffer forever. Whatever it is, what's happening in the frequency of your body, that is overriding everything else. Because speaking a phrase or having a thought, one vibration, one cell of your being is 500,000 times stronger than a thought. So you can see why we've gotten so far in surface self-empowerment. Like we're running on a hamster wheel, because we're doing all the things, again, masculine way of operating, instead of coming into our heart, operating heart-centered, feeling into our bodies, feeling the connection of all things, feeling the reality is like, oh, love everywhere, abundance everywhere. And how do I come from that frequency and place as I'm now doing the practices of seeing a different reality? That is the disconnect. Okay. So I'll share with you on the scarcity thing. When I realized, it kept popping into my field. Now I was creating massive abundance, so I wouldn't think that I had an issue with scarcity. But what I realized is it kept popping into my field with people in my world, that it's like, and it kept being like a resistance feeling. So it's like, why am I resisting this person? Because I thought, oh, they're in scarcity, it must mean they don't trust themselves, you know, so I recognize these judgments. Again, anything I'm projecting out is a reflection of myself. Okay, I guess this is going a whole different way on scarcity for a minute, guys, which is perfect. I felt like it was going to come through. But so if I'm saying, you know, projecting on them, oh, they're not trusting themselves of who they are, their value, because again, money is a reflection of how much you value yourself and how much value you're giving the world. It's just a tool of frequency. Again, it's a tool to create, to give love, to do what you choose to do, to honor yourself. And the amount that you're choosing to receive is a reflection of how much you're giving the world and how much you love yourself. So therefore, my little girl had a story that, oh, if you're not in abundance, it must mean that you still haven't done that journey of self-love, that you don't love yourself whole and complete, that you maybe don't trust yourself. And so what was that reflection of? A judgment on myself, a judgment on how I judged myself for when I was in scarcity, for the past experience. And guys, even in a conscious state now, if you ever go to, oh, back then, and you judge who you were, you're not seeing it as the reality that it was. That was all perfect in the time it was for you to learn what you got experience, to become who you are now. And so if I was to say, oh, when I was that, I was not enough, that's only reaffirming how I haven't loved and accepted myself whole and complete now, because it would say that I only love myself if. Now notice the word if. If, okay? This is how we've been raised and trained on if. If, you know, I'll love myself if this. I'll love you if that. That is a conditional word. So that is, love is conditional. So until I was recognizing that, oh my gosh, what did I actually learn when I was in scarcity? Scarcity, right? What we think scarcity is. If I wasn't producing a certain amount of money, then I was in scarcity. what was actually true was I was never in scarcity. I look back on those times and was like, holy shit, I was so supported. Oh my gosh. Like, I mean, that's how I built an empire, was I was so supported. I built the empire because I was supported and abundant in all ways. And I was operating in like aligning my life to that the money got to show up as a reflection as well. But it's like building epic relationships, operating from, heart-centered consciousness, in the behaviors of love and a higher frequency, and learning to trust myself, learning to give more value, learning to speak up and express. All those lessons that I got when I was in scarcity allowed me to be who I am today, where I can receive more and it's a reflection for me. But I wouldn't have got the lesson of how to speak up and how to stand for myself and set my boundaries and honor myself, or, all the things I got to learn, if there hadn't also been the drive of like, oh, I get to take care of my babies. I want to live a different life. I choose, like, I want absolute freedom. Like right now, I literally have nothing on my schedule and I'm living wherever I want to in the world, doing whatever I feel called to do, serving in whatever way I feel called to serve. So ultimately, I created the ideal freedom life that was perfect for me, yet I would never have gotten here if I didn't actually love that scarcity and realize scarcity never existed. So again, when I also go, whoa, scarcity was never even true. And what was true is I was always perfect even back then. And look at how I was supported and I was abundant. Now I realize scarcity is a lie. So if it ever it stopped popping into my field completely, because all of a sudden I loved all parts of me. I loved, and I can love myself no matter what I'm experiencing financially, with my body, with, whatever's showing up. It's a aligning to the frequency of getting your new reality now is aligning to love frequency always. That's it. And that's how simple it really can be. Yet most of us get to implement and integrate new ways of thinking and seeing the world and speaking and feeling, and these practices to be behaviorally in alignment to a higher vibrational frequency, because everything we were taught was opposite. It's not who you are, it's just what you learn. So I love that, Carolyn or Candy, that you're seeing all the judgments from yourself before. So let's think about this, guys. Okay, so I'm backing I'm backing up to where I was going, where I was talking about nighttime. Okay, so your nighttime routine, and talking about a little breakdown, a breakthrough session with myself, which is talking to my little girl and saying, cool, is there anything from today that gets to be heard or seen or felt? So if anything is in resistance and doesn't feel good, I now have the opportunity to feel it, to love it, to look at it and go, oh, what's really true? Well, what do I want to create and believe? And align to then a higher vibration. And that might, and at nighttime for me, then I go into, and you guys actually can get this meditation for free. I know my team offers it for free, and I'm sure I can find the link, where you can just sign up for my ultimate life of having it all meditation, where I literally go into, a lot of times I'll do my breath work at night, and I'll do like some Kriya breathing or meditating. But this is the timeline hopping, the action or the thing that you get to do to bring that vibrational frequency in. Notice I aligned to loving who I am. I aligned to being whole and complete with myself. I allowed and gave myself permission to clear any negative energy or any old thoughts or any old stories or programs or things that wanted to pop up and bring presence. And instead of letting them be there or sit there, I'm like, oh, let's look at this. Let's love this. It's okay that you feel that way. If you guys aren't really, again, the Freedom Activators will walk you through how to do this. But even it's not to go, okay, so I need to feel good. It's actually to just accept whole and completely yourself. So even if it's like, it's okay that you're feeling sad, sweetie. It's okay that reflection is showing up for you and that's the old story and what you took on. It's like, what is really true is that we are love. And we're remembering the actual laws of truth. We're remembering the universal laws that are the highest elevation and vibration versus believing some old story. Now, how do I align to that is I might sit and do some holding my little girl or, feeling my heart and giving myself an action that aligns to a vibrational frequency that is different than what I was experiencing. That is the lie, okay? So going into then, if I go into meditation or I do, some processes at night, I always go into some sort of meditation where then I am literally seeing the field, seeing the vibrational frequency, or seeing the vision of living in the timeline I want now. Okay, so I'll quickly kind of give you guys the breakdown of timeline hopping, and then I'll kind of continue on more of these practices. So timeline hopping first, like it's always being able to see that there's what is the vibrational field that you want to connect to, right? Like what's the What's the new timeline? So you get to identify, well, that's the experience I want to be having. That's what I want to be feeling, what I would, what you think you want it to look like. Okay. And there's the acceptance piece, right? Which we kind of talked about, but it's like, if your whole world is a different timeline, then what do I see that I want to be feeling and believing is my experience right now? So you get to identify with the timeline that you really want first. That's always gets to be what it is. Hang on, I'm going to grab my water. My throat's still loving and recovering from the other day portal, which I didn't even finish explaining. I did a lot of clearing for the feminine expression on the 11/11 portal. Law came up with seeing the witches and priestesses suppressed, and I got to move that, and my throat has been adjusting a little bit since. So, okay, so we identify with it, right? That's what I said. So the next thing we do is we look at how you get to shift your vibration to match that. Okay, so even just sitting, if I know I want to be living in a space of divine unconditional love, where I only have the coolest, most epic, amazing relationships and abundance everywhere, how can I feel feel love, feel unconditional love? So whatever emotion I want to give out, I'm saying I want is what I get to give out, right? And whatever if I want epic relationships, how do I actually, again, give an epic relationship to myself, or be whole and complete with myself? How do I feel abundance within myself? So, because number 3 is what we always get to do. It's kind of just like in my 5 steps, I talk about, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling that way? Okay, so what do I want? And when we get clear for what do I want, then it's like, okay, well, what's a new pattern, belief, and perception that I get to align to? And what's the action that I get to take to align to that frequency? So really, as you know, we're looking to shift our vibrational state when we timeline hop. It's how do I be that vibrational field and do things that hold that field? So if we'll go back to our example of scarcity and abundance. If you're wanting to feel abundance as your field and receive abundance as your field, what things, maybe make a list, what are the things I would get to practice and do? First off, what are the perceptions, behaviors, the beliefs that I would get to practice? But what are the things that I would get to practice to be and hold that field? So it might be like, how many times a day can I look around and be like, so much abundance everywhere. Look at how much fruit and plants and trees, and how this is available, and look at all the support I have, and how can I go give abundance? Because generosity is the key to abundance, my friends. And abundance is also giving without expectation to receive. So if I can go, oh, how can I go give something to someone and create value for someone? How can I give out my abundance? How can I give my services? How can I give love out? You are doing the practices of holding that field and frequency of vibration, okay? And this is why we'll drop into some of the practices that I recommend, the things that I do every single day to hold a vibrational frequency, again, from the things that I wear, things that I'm focused on, things that I might be singing, the chanting, all the things that I'll share with you, is these are things that are in alignment to the highest vibrational frequency and the field that I want to be living in, right? And so then that gets to show up for me. So what are the ways that you could express that? To timeline hop into your new reality, what are the ways that you could express that and be that now? That's what your open eye visualization is seeing. Open eye visualization is actually a thing where instead of closing your eyes, which your mind can actually think that you're tricking it, because it's like, I won't get into it now, but it's like when you actually learn to open your eyes and project out in front of you and see the field of it, it's like doing an open eye visualization. And it doesn't matter what's showing up in front of you. Just like if someone comes and you're choosing that you're aligning to the most beautiful epic relationships, who are only divine allies who operate in bliss and flow and peace and harmony. And now there might be some things that you get to clear to receive that. And so what might show up is someone being an ass. And when you respond with harshness and deflect them being an ass, just like I was deflecting scarcity, it'll keep showing up for you, because it's there for you to heal and love. And you respond with that vibrational frequency with a new pattern behavior of like, oh, I'm so grateful. Like, thank you, my friend. And you can actually see them as a little child in pain, and how they're a sacred contract. They're there for whatever message you get to receive in your interaction that you chose. And as you give it love and you heal that, and you choose to take radical responsibility of why it's even in your hologram in your field, and you respond with love and you respond with, you know, then moving on and being like, I'm so grateful, I only attract the very best, and you give your energy and focus and attention towards the people who are, you know, divine light. Just like I saw my girl Marie on here, and I was like, oh, I love this girl, like I love this woman and who she is and how she stands. Like, those are the people I'm focused on. Those are the light workers. Because really, guys, victim to light worker is just victims are just light workers in training. I think it's actually Matt Kahn who said that, which I love. It's like victims are light workers in training. And it's like, you know, we're all in different levels of victimhood. Even as a light worker, we're literally still seeing how we, you know, might have a blame around something or a judgment around something. That's a level of victimhood. And then we just get to look at it and honor it and allow it and love it, to then go, oh, okay, I can transmute that into light. So notice everything is about vibrational transmutation into a light frequency, so that you are then, you transmute that thing, and then guess what? Assholes stop showing up. And if they do show up, you don't even notice them, because you don't have a resistance to them anymore, because you're also like, hey, I honor people to be however they want to be and who they want to be, and I can see it out of love and light now. So you see that the shift is, as you continually check in and catch yourself in a pattern or behavior that is not of the frequency and vibration that you want to live in. If you want to live in the vibration of abundance and being fully supported, luxury codes, like guys, this space, if those of you joined me from the beginning saw how I have this mansion. I mean, it's me, and I have this mansion of a huge, gorgeous villa. I actually have friends coming to stay on Thursday because I have this whole extra suite and this whole big, beautiful place on resort land in Bali, a private villa. This got offered to me at less than half the cost of a normal dinky room in the resort. Luxury codes. It's like, doesn't matter. I'm always supported. The universe is like, so again, does it really, it's not about, there is no such thing as scarcity. It didn't matter what my money situation was, if that dropped in to support me. And again, I was someone who would have had to pay double for a little room, but I got offered a mansion of a villa. And I said, oh, I'd love to be on a resort. So I had all these bonuses, and I love to be off grid in nature, but still have access to a gym and a restaurant if I want, and, you know, things. But I'm out here off grid where there's waterfalls and it's just beautiful. And yet I said, but I want privacy, because I always stay off grid where there's absolute energy, sacred space for me. I got a freaking mansion of a space, privacy, and I have access. Again, the universe completely supported me, because so I'm holding that field all the time of abundance and love. And I love how, and so I see everything out of love from the universe, that the universe, oh, brought this to me so that I could have even greater. Right. So, I mean, I don't want to go too off charts here, because there's a lot of other things that we could dive into to clarify that. But the whole point is, every single moment, this is why it's about where is my vibration right now, and is the action I'm about to take, the pattern behavior, whatever's going on, does that match what I say I want? And that is calling yourself on your own bullshit. And that's taking radical responsibility. That's step 3 of my 5 steps. It's like, what do I really want? This is calling yourself on your own bullshit. Whoa, if I want epic relationships, is my pattern right now of shutting down or being guarded or closed off or pushing away or judging the other person or shaming or blaming myself, is any of that going to give me absolute love and alignment in relationships? Anything that I'm doing even with myself? If it's not, oh, interesting. Okay, what is really going on here? Why is this here? How do I go into love and acceptance with it? How do I see the light within it? What it's really for, that the universe brought to me, because if I'm holding this vibrational field, the universe has to bring me the things to clear to allow myself to align to that vibrational field. So this is not, I'm not, you know, this is why I'm not telling you guys. It's just do the practices. Oh, guys, you want to know some morning practices? Bullshit. That will only be keeping you in the doing. And the masculine energy of, I just got to get somewhere else. I got to get somewhere else. I got to be somewhere else. Someday I'm going to be good enough. Someday I'll arrive. Someday I'll be there. I'll just keep doing these mantras, or I'm going to go into mantras, but I'll keep doing these things, these affirmations, etc., without the feeling alignment, because I'm not enough and I need to get to someday. And that's why you don't arrive at someday, is because you're not living in today in this moment. So in this moment, you get to consistently check in your vibration. What are all the ways that can support your vibration? So I'll give you guys some things on this, and just this would be a suggestion for you, feedback. Write down, what are the things that, if whatever field or vision I have of the timeline I wish to hop into now, what are the things that I can do to practice that? What are the things that would speak to that? What are the things that would be expressing that all the time? Okay. And then you look at, okay, how can I upgrade my frequency in what I'm putting on my body, in the kind of music that I'm listening to, in who I choose to be around. Notice all of these things will start to come into play and pop into your field so that you can align to receiving that timeline now. Okay, so let me tune into this, where I was going to go with that. Okay, so I was saying about nighttime routine, right? This is why now in that practice, the reason I want you to hear that this is so important, because again, this is a practice to shift your field. This gives you an opportunity. This is so powerful, okay? When you tune in at night, you literally are going into how do I phrase this? Like an unconscious reality, lucid state, where so much healing work, so much of that happens in dream state reality. But it's like you're going into a subconscious state if you're gonna go to bed and sleep for 8 hours, you literally are holding feel that vibration in your body for that long. So whatever you choose now in this conscious state reality, say like your awake state, you maybe you pass by the mirror at night and you go, I can't wait until if I was just a little bit fitter, or that's a really bad impression. I don't even resonate with that stuff. It was so long ago. I actually forgot that dieting even existed until someone posted something about it and I saw it in my field. I was like, oh yeah, that's a thing. Forgot. But say for instance, that might be where you're having a fight with your body and you say something negative about yourself and you go to bed on that. That is literally soaking in your body and your system all night long. You have a disconnect in one of your relationships, and this is again why I do the little girl clearing. Like, is there anything there that was said or thought or felt today that gets to be expressed, that gets to be heard? Because I know the value of clearing my cells in my system before I go to bed. Otherwise, that is going to soak in my system all along. And I'll know that the times that I don't completely clear, or, I'm having a challenge moment where it might be like, when you feel shitty, you don't want to do it. And usually I'm really good at going, wow, okay, cool, what's here? Why do I do the behaviors to align to a different vibrational state. Now, the times that I don't completely allow myself to clear or give myself enough space to do that, or I just half-ass it, I literally wake up feeling shitty. I wake up with a heaviness in my body. And I'm like, I totally felt some heaviness in my chest last night, and I didn't give myself permission to pay attention. I didn't honor my little girl, or I did, and it's not to go into shame. I'm like, thank you for the reminder of how valuable I am and how important my frequency is, and how I get to honor myself, and just giving myself that space to be like, hey sweetie, anything there? That could have taken me minutes and would have been clean and clear, and I would have woke up in a high vibrational state. And that's what's soaking in my body all night long. So now as you go to bed, whatever you chose to be the thing that you injured down. This is why I do my ultimate life meditation at night. And guys, feel free to ask me for that. I'm happy to give that to you. But it literally will walk you through seeing every aspect of your life. Now, this is a timeline shift. I see every aspect of my life and the vision of it. Now, as I'm sitting there and I'm feeling it because I can, okay? I cleared, so I'm clear, and I can go, that's right. I'm so worthy of the most epic, beautiful, amazing relationships. And I can see myself traveling the whole world and doing my passion and my play. And I can envision this, and how can you exude that? Okay, so this is something that can exude it because it's going to sit in your system all night long. Okay, so it's like, as I'm sitting there, put a smile on your face, and it's like, like if you're feeling good. Now, what society has done in surface self-empowerment is do your visualization, and you're sitting here with your body clenched in contraction, maybe not even aware of it. Your jaw might be clenched. So many people are carrying so much stress in their jaw. Maybe you feel heaviness in your stomach or your chest because your little girl or boy inside really is like, fuck no, you don't really deserve that. Or that's really scary because, if you have abundance, you'll get used. Or if you're beautiful, you'll get attacked. There's still an unconscious program saying, I don't want that. So you don't even notice how your body might be actually constricted. And yet you're sitting here trying to visualize a different reality instead of first getting present with the reality of your experience right here. And how do I love all this and feel all this and make sure this feels love? And now I can choose to feel that state. What does that feel like? It's so different to go, what does that feel like when your energy is clear? And go, ooh, what does that feel like when I feel surrounded by love? And I can actually feel right now. I could actually just call in and feel like, all my angels around me. And I could ask Archangel Michael to bring me to grid me. I actually do this, guys. This is another way that I upgrade my frequency every morning and every night. And even several times during the day, I call in Archangel Michael and several archangels to grid the four corners around me with the violet flame. So I am like constantly surrounded by the violet flame. My space is gridded with the violet flame. Again, this is why I have my altar. So I have a space that is literally exuding massive frequency. I have all the ascended masters and like my unseen peeps and teachers totally holding the field and vibration. And I'll share, if you guys will stay with me, there's a lot coming through right now. I'll share on other ways that you can do this. But notice it's like I choose in this being one of the things. So it's like even at nighttime, I ask for this vibrational field to protect me in all of my lifetimes, like parallel lifetimes, all space, times, dimensions, realities. As I go into dream state, I know I travel and do lots of stuff in astral state. And so it's like I hold that field around me to wherever I go and whatever I do, I am literally protected. Only the beings of the highest and greatest light that love me unconditionally can enter into my space and can communicate with me and guide me and give me support. Only those that are of the highest vibrational, the highest vibrational alignment to my divinity, my highest divine light, as well as choose to support me. So I'm not just calling in, because being an open channel, I've had a lot of light come through that's like wants me to go do light for all the world and takes me off of my path and purpose. So a whole nother story for another day. When I again go, hey, how do I ask for the support of vibrational light? So just sitting there at night, guys, and even if you're not woo-woo cray-cray or into multidimensional stuff yet, or maybe it's a little out there, just know that you're surrounded by unseen support. If you can just even believe that and go, oh, you know what? Like, I know if all things are energy, there's energy all around me. How do I call in and ask for the energy of light and abundance? And you can even just sitting there, you can literally call in and ask for your oversoul to stream the white pillar of light through. And I ask for my chakras to be aligned. And, you know, if you're in my tribe, I'm going to be doing a chakra cleansing and actually a breakdown, a breakthrough open mic call for everyone in the community this week to kind of share some more on the timeline hopping frequency, because this has been coming through. But it's like even to you know, be able to just call in and receive that white pillar of light to clear your chakras and align your chakras, again cleansing your system, even asking for the violet flame to come through. And I asked Saint Germain, because Saint Germain is the one who gave us the violet flame, to just pour the violet flame through my system. So it's cleansing out any old stories, programs, ideas, behaviors. Like, just, you know, Saint Germain, just keep sweeping my system. And you can ask for this all day long. Keep sweeping my system. Like, why wouldn't we? If we really love ourselves, why wouldn't we ask for all the support and why wouldn't we receive all the massive amounts of support that's available, right? So I just ask, keep sweeping my system, cleanse my body, cleanse my energy. Anything that's coming up is being unraveled and released. You can even ask Archangel Michael if you do feel like, oh, I notice I'm saying I see this life of abundance, and I like feel like, oh, but I can't really envision that, or I can't really imagine that I can have that. You can say, thank you, sweetie. Thank you for letting me know that that's what we used to believe and feel. What's really true is, you know, we are divine being. And I'll give you guys some tips and tools to knowing how to connect that gap, which I'm going to get to. But to then say, hey, Archangel Michael, dude, I love you. Will you come in and cut some cords? Like, they just want to help. So if you're just like, thank you, Archangel Michael, will you cut the cords of attachments to these old stories and ideas and programs? Saint Germain, will you feed my system with the violet flame right now and just cleanse and clear my energy? And then you hold your heart, you say, baby, I got you. It's okay. It's okay that you're feeling that way. That's just from the old stories and the old things that we chose to see, that we, you know, picked up, that were never true. What's really true is we're so supported. We are worthy of abundance. Look around. Scarcity is a lie. If you missed that part, go back and watch it. Scarcity is a lie. Abundance is everywhere. And you remind yourself of the truth and the vibration you choose to see, you choose to look for, you choose to find the evidence of the vibration that you want to be operating in, and you just give love to it. Even if you're struggling, you just give love to that. You love that. You don't have to overcome it. There's nothing to overcome. There's just to be with. There's just to witness what's there, be with it, love it, allow it. That is the feminine embodiment. That is the love energy that then takes, you know, it cleanses your cells and takes hold of it, then goes, ooh, and this would feel good, that goes into the masculine. So again, going back into just whatever action now. So we're on the last step of timeline hopping. Whatever the action is that's going to be shifting the vibrational state, whatever the action is that's going to be holding that vibrational state. So if I take every night and I get into my body and relax and love every cell of my being and being able to do this. And guys, again, side note, the Remembrance to Wholeness retreat coming up in March, using medicine, is going to be to massively cleanse all of your cells. And then I want to teach what I've been really feeling called to do. I want to teach how to do these energy shifts and how to energy grid. You can energy grid as well too, guys. It's a whole other thing that we could go into, energy gridding, but it's like you can learning how to move the stuff so it's done. It's that fast. And I see so many people struggling in their same vibration, their same frequency, and the same patterns and behaviors, etc., because they feel it in their body and they don't know how to cleanse it and clear it. Okay, so number one, definitely get the freedom activators if you haven't and you don't, because this can walk you through that process. Number two is there's all the support around. That's why I'll do a hape ceremony. When I really require a cleansing, I can do a hape ceremony and tune in and be able to cleanse, like feel the light myself. The main thing I want you guys to get me to, and now apparently in my very quiet, beautiful space, they're doing some construction, so hopefully you guys can still hear me. Tell me if you can't, and I can always move if it starts again. But the point of that was, can you imagine feeling your body being light? Can you imagine all of your cells being light? So when I do clearing on myself, literally it's like my whole body is just like light energy. It's like becoming a rainbow, activating your rainbow light body, activating your crystalline consciousness energy. And it's like every bit of my cells feels just like light, and it's just magnifying, and everything, I feel like air. Everything is just like so light and just shining. I can just feel an illumination. Now, talk about getting younger every day. It's actually the more you spiritually align to the divinity of who you are, is that you become more luminescent, because the more light you actually are able to embed in your system and are able to emit. The more light you're able to emit is your luminosity. Okay, so even if at night you choose, do your little girl conversation, little boy conversation, and go into visualizing and feeling that, making sure that you can feel it. And if anything, just see your system being cleansed and cleared. Ask for the support of your system cleansed and cleared, and feel your body being light. Doing that with then choosing to have a vision of the life that you choose to, you're choosing to be experiencing right now, that is the reality that you're experiencing, and you're smiling and you're feeling that and you're speaking to that. I use my Ankh, and I magnify with my Ankh, which is one of my spiritual tools, which I'll show you guys. I use that every night to go into that speaking and that intention. I use my crystals. I'm holding my crystals as I do my meditation and I do my breath work. That's how I go to bed. So then that is soaking in my body and my system all night long. I wake up literally like, and now all night long, that just emulated out into the frequency of the planet. That traveled with me through times and dimensions and created things. So truly, morning practice for me starts the night before. And this is more getting into the Charlene asked about combo. Yes, I've done combo several times as well. Medicine journeys and all that is probably a whole other conversation, but we're not doing combo in March, if that's the question. We're actually doing psilocybin and DMT and getting to do tons of energy gridding, clearing work, and all sorts of stuff. So I can easily, if you're interested in that, just, remind me, ask, and I'm happy to give you a link and some information on it. Okay. So let me think about this. Let me break down, because I want to make sure I give you guys the things that I promised. And so we're talking now about the practices. Alexa, I love you so much. Alexandra, so good to see you too. Okay, so we did nighttime. So let's talk about daily practices. So let me think. I wake up in the morning, right? First thing I always do is and maybe I should go show you guys my my altar and give you guys want another little sneak peek into the space, and I'll show you my altar and what I actually do. So this being my altar, okay, and so this is like a big part of what I travel with, my altar. So I always light my, oh gosh, what's it called? My incense. I light my incense. I even have my Ganesh statue that has a candle. I always light a candle when I'm doing my ceremony stuff. But so you can see, and I'm just going to give you guys this again so you can kind of see like the array of different stuff that I have. This is all the stuff that I travel with, and all of this has massive significance and meaning. Okay, so you can see all the different ascended masters, all the angels, archangels, all these different things. Obviously, I have even the sacred space for my malas, my crystals. So when I start my day, I get up and I light my incense and I sit in front of my altar, because there's a reason why. And whether you I didn't have an altar for years, guys. This literally was probably in the last, as I had the Magical Manifestation Mansion, I had a whole meditation room and I had an altar. But up until then, I never even knew what an altar was. I never had any connection to that. So whether you have one or not, it's really just about having creating a sacred space for yourself that feels like you're there to honor yourself. Because actually, as you honor the divine, you're honoring yourself. Okay, and this is where I'll get into some tips around how to connect the dots to feeling that frequency being you. So whether to create some sacred space where literally you can bawl your eyes out, you can go there and pretend that you're speaking to the divine, you know, which again is like, you know, a space where you can say, hey, I surrender this to you. I don't have to carry this anymore. I give you, you know, I give you all this pain that I'm holding on to, this thoughts or these ideas or traumas. And so an altar space is just a sacred space for you literally to come with your prayers, with your projects. I'll put my computer on my altar with stuff that's channeling through that I'm creating. It's like, bless this. Okay. I'll come to my altar with just, it's that daily space of me literally creating the frequency and vibration of the highest divine field. It's me seeing myself as a divine light being. That's really what it is. So, whether it be you don't have an altar or you do, just what space can you feel good in? Sometimes I'll come outside and I'll do my, you know, my breath work and stuff outside, but I love being in front of my altar because it's like I light my candles and it's like I'm just like, first I give the universe appreciation when I wake up. And if you guys are in any of my programs and have my meditations, you know, the daily declaration to start a fantastical life. But people every day, they're like, I love that meditation. I start my day with the daily declarations to start a fantastical life. I also, you can, this is something you can do at night, is I cleanse my cells. Like I talked to you guys about how visualizing cleansing the cells. I also have a nighttime cellular structure retraining meditation that you can listen to that will literally walk you through designing your cells, getting younger every day, programming your cells to do that, programming your cells to heal, programming your cells to operate in perfect function of physical, you know, that your body physically operates at optimal levels. This is all available for you when you choose to learn to tap into, again, these multidimensional abilities that are you. So it's like cleansing your cells at night, directing your cells of exactly what you want them to do all night long. So in the morning, whether it be you turn on a meditation that helps you to hear these things and start speaking out these things, and you're giving direction to life. Okay, notice again, timeline hopping is I'm giving direction to life. I am the master creator of it all, and I'm choosing to speak into existence that reality, as well as see it and perceive it and feel it. Now, when all of these things come together, manifestation, it's super easy. The challenge is that we've been like, I'll speak it, but I don't feel it. You know, I'll look at the evidence in front of me and be like, see, it can't exist until it shows up. And so we're waiting for our reality in front of us to change for us to feel differently, instead of you feel differently and your reality will change. You get that? That is truly manifestation. It comes from the frequency and beingness that is you. So when I do in the morning, I first, you know, the gratitude, the appreciation. Thank you for the hearts, guys. I love it. I love and appreciate you. I say thank you to my ascended masters, the angels, archangels, the teachers. Again, I ask Archangel Michael to grid my space, to start me off for the day of just gridding my space. And I ask for, you know, I just ask for whatever I'm wanting support in. I can ask Saraswati to come through so that I'm communicating clearly as this, you know, whatever I'm teaching or sharing. I literally just give pure appreciation to the universe and say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for another gorgeous, beautiful day. So you're already from this moment, are you being the frequency of what your day is going to look like? Okay. So you do create your actual day, but I don't fully resonate with when it's like, we're so much teach with, you know, how you start your day is how you live your life. Yes. And it's how you actually are choosing to live throughout the day. It's not just how you start your day. It's, are you going to be a conscious being? Are you going to live consciously, moment by moment, right? Where it's like, oh, all of a sudden I noticed, dude just said that. I felt a little triggered. I put up my guard. Now I'm in resistance. Oh, wait, is that really going to give me an abundance of love? Is that going to give me epic relationship, right? I have to go, and I have to catch it, catch the frequency and vibration I'm in, realign, love myself wholly, and then choose the action that is the vibration that's going to match. So it's not just how you start your day. And this is why I want you guys to understand that remember how I started this, and that I said, everything you do is a seed of your reality. Everything that you're doing right now is going to bring you what you get next, right? So back to my altar in the morning, I do breath work. I do Kriya breathing. And so then I go into deep meditation, and I go into, you know, some ohms with seeing my energy channels opened up and connecting to light. And, you know, that could just be for you. It could just be meditation. It could be visualization. But this is where I want to get clear, okay? Because again, I always want to break down the gaps of what normal society is doing and what's actually not working, and how to align those gaps, okay? So Oh, I love it. Karen said she has a practice she calls the frequency I choose to reside in, I reside in me. Beautiful. It's all about let me be the frequency and let me align to it outside of me. So that's perfect. So there's two things that I want to clarify, okay? Because in this, I'll do my breath work, I'll do my Kriya, I do my meditation. So I'll sit there and I'll do my silent meditation after I've just literally been in this gorgeous, beautifully energy channel and I filled with light and all this stuff. So I'm exuding that and I'm just feeling stillness and softness and peace of being me. And then I go into my chants and my mantras. Now this might be for you that you go into, you know, speaking your affirmations. This is the difference, okay? So I've taught this a lot over the years. Maybe you've heard me or maybe you've not, but there's whatever, when you say something like an affirmation, just like I said before, where it's like, I'm receiving all the money and all the abundance, but your body goes, like, no, look around us. Like, we don't have abundance and we've never been abundant. And you know, you can't believe it, whether from the outside circumstances or the internal belief systems that are still there. Okay, and an example that I love to use that's really simple that we all can, you know, relate to just because our physical world and our body world has been such a big aspect, was it's like someone saying, you know, I'm six-pack abs, but they're inside, you're like, no, you're not. You're a fatty. You've never been, if you have like 50 pounds to shed or 100 pounds to shed, you see how your reality is different in the feeling. So when you choose something like that you can't believe, it literally internally reaffirms the limiting belief to be true. It says, that's not us. That's not true. That's not what we have. That's not how we roll. And so the affirmations and declarations do not work for you. They work against you when they're not in alignment to what you do believe. This is why I have a whole coaching on unconscious commitments, which if you guys are in my programs, go back through that. It's so powerful to then see how you're even clear of more unconscious commitments and aligning to your new conscious commitments. But when you see, oh, because this is my result because I've been unconsciously committed to this. So the reason I do mantras and chanting, and this is filling in the gap, okay? I want you to see how you feel in the gap to becoming that person. So if I just say an affirmation declaration I can't believe, it doesn't resonate. What you can do is you can find one that you can believe, okay? So that's the first little mini step, is if it's like, you know, use the same example. Six-pack abs is way too out there cray for you. It's like, it's not happening. You're so far away from that. It might be being like, I'm healthier every day. Is that something you can believe? Can you believe, hey, I actually am totally empowered to be healthier every day. I am healthier every day because you know, every single day we evolve. There's no way you can go back. Even if you have a shit day and you sabotage in whatever way, you're actually like, oh, what did I learn from that? How am I being a healthier being every day? Literally, you can find a way that can resonate for you. So it's like, if that resonates for you, I can choose that. So to start with, even if it's like, oh, I am abundant because look at all the friends that I have and look at how, you know, life always supports me and look at all the lessons I've learned to assist me in accepting more. And so I can choose the perception. If I can break it down and see, yeah, I am abundant, and now I can believe that to be true, I can still use that affirmation. But if it's like, I still don't really believe that, find one that you can believe to be true. So that's kind of like the human behavioral side of aligning to it. Now, on a way to connect to the true divinity and vibration that you are is where I want to kind of go, because you might have an entire reality that has taught you that you're not enough, you're all these things. And so it's like, how can I can't really connect to that because I've never known anything different. So you can keep doing the ones that resonate for you as true right now, but how do we timeline shift into such a bigger leap to our multidimensional selves? How could we actually believe that we are so worthy of just, man, there's so much fucking wealth and luxury in the world, and we're so worthy of just being fully supported in that, and you know, everything is bliss and flow. How can you make such a massive leap into something different when you haven't had that as your experience or results or reality, or even been taught it or even seen it as your evidence? So this is why I do mantras. Okay, so mantras are very different to me than affirmations. And the affirmation and declaration is just like, let me state this thing. And yet again, it's an I am frequency. And yes, the I am vibration is the highest vibrational frequency. Okay, yet again, do you believe it? It has to be in alignment for it to magnify the energy, or the energy is speaking something else. So even if where I am this, there's that disconnect. So you got to get clear on that. What I want you to think about or tune into is when I understood that even the breakdown of our system, we have 108 betas in our system, sound frequency. There's all these things that actually are I want to say like a remembrance in your cells, the codes that we didn't even know that we have, or the ways of the ways of expressing and operating that we didn't even know that existed. So when we speak a mantra, it actually holds a vibrational frequency. Okay. So you could also say the same for like, I am love. Okay. Now let me tell you the difference and why I'm saying there's a gap. If I say I am love, I attach to love my human conditioning of love. You see that? So if I've had shitty experiences that I saw as a part of love, or stories that I see are a part of love, like love hurts, love is conditional, love is, you know, a struggle, or it's a sacrifice, or it's a compromise, or any of those, then when I say I am love, I am attaching to that I am affirmation, that frequency of what I believe love to be. What I'm also doing is I'm calling in that to be my experience. So I'm just asking for more of the love that I've experienced. Okay. Now, when I do a mantra, let's say, for instance, you're wanting to ask for the support of abundance in your life, and you're wanting to be the vibration of abundance. Om Shri Mahalakshmi Ye Namaha. This is the mantra of Lakshmi. Lakshmi, as you saw on my altar, I have Lakshmi, I have money on my altar, because of course, spirituality is wealth, because we're all deserving and worthy of everything that we want to have, and spiritually aligned to our highest divinity. Of course, I have the wealth and abundance. So I have, as you saw, money on my altar, Lakshmi, who represents abundance in all things, but she's definitely known as the abundance of, like, she's got the gold, you know, pots of gold by her. And as I spent lots of time now in India and went through pujas, it's like literally the, you know, puja is like the receiving the cleansing, receiving the wealth, and you're receiving this as you're witnessing it. So it's like, as I honor the divine, this being that represents the divine. So stay with me as I honor Lakshmi. Now, if I say, oh, I want to be like Lakshmi, okay? I want to hold the frequency of Lakshmi. She's my teacher. She's a teacher. She's a god, goddess, deity. Just like if I worked with Mother Mary as an ascended master, she's my teacher that shows me the essence of that vibration. Okay, so now we are all things. I'm going deep, guys. We are all things, okay? We have, if you look at your gene keys, which is another thing that I teach, your human design, you know, all the traits, the I Ching, you got all the human traits. We each hold every single one of them, but we have specifically our unique DNA map of our specific keys that is our things we chose to learn, our shadows that become our gifts, that become our highest, greatest light, and the highest gifts that we have. So your mess turns into your message. Your shit becomes your gifts. That's what we all have the opportunity to go through. Oh, I rejected scarcity, as I shared with you guys before, and then I actually aligned to my worth, and I allowed abundance. And that meant I got to love every part of me that even thought that I was scarcity, to allow abundance, because that meant I'm worthy. So you see how your shit becomes your light. The darkness becomes a transmutation of your light. So I'm bringing it back with these representations of frequency. Just like every manipulation would be a frequency, abundance is a frequency. Everything is a vibrational frequency. So if you chose to go watch and follow and study a teacher who is out there teaching hate, you'd be focusing on that frequency. Okay. If you choose to go focus on someone who's being light, you're learning and practicing and opening to that understanding, that context. You're receiving those codes. Just like if you choose the codes of something over here, you're choosing that as your experience. You open and awaken the codes of the frequency when you choose to focus on it and you practice the implementation of that essence of that code. So as I choose, now every god, goddess, deity, ascended master, etc. has certain gifts, just like you have certain gifts. Okay, your specific gifts, because you're also them. You're the same. You're the divine. So we all have our specific gifts that we offer. That is our talent. That's why I said Saint Germain gave us the violet flame. Archangel Michael, who's good at being in there and cutting cords and you know, being a protection energy in space. Mother Mary is the rose, the teachings of the rose, and she brings the love energy. And so you can call on Mother Mary to be wrapped in love. And I mean, Kuan Yin is compassion. She teaches us how to take anything and move into compassion. So Lakshmi is abundance. Now, when I go, okay, I can look to the divine, this divine being So look to an ascended master, look to an angel, look to a teacher here on earth that you honor as like someone that you align to or resonate with, like wanting to, you know, be that expression of, not you wanting to be them, you choosing to be the same expression of that essence. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. If you're feeling like I'm not it, I'm not abundance, but I can look to Lakshmi, then I can say, thank you, Lakshmi, for teaching me the frequency of abundance. And as I was in, you know, India in these pujas, and literally there was one day in Navaratri that was the honoring is the Navaratri that I just went through, I don't know, like a month and a half ago was I in India. And one of the days was Lakshmi. And so it's like the honoring of Lakshmi. And literally like just, and I mean, I went to an early morning ceremony in the temple, this gold temple that was like, I think it was like $1 billion. I think that's what, or 1 billion tons of gold. And Lakshmi is in this, and all the priests are doing ceremony and they're doing puja on Lakshmi, and it's this big, huge honoring. And I'm just like, she's literally like, I am so worthy of just being completely supported and taken care of. I am here. My essence is the value. And see, that's why I know by me doing my own work, my essence transmutes the frequency for the planet. So I am actually doing the greatest good I can for the planet by doing my own clearing and being this essence. And I hold this frequency, as I talked about in the very beginning. We have an option to be in all look at the destruction of the world, or we can be the new earth frequency, and we can be the new human frequency, and we can hold this frequency in essence for other people to go, okay, I see how I can, all the things we're talking about today, I see how I can implement all these things, and I can practice being this vibrational field of divine unconditional love, of worthiness, of honoring and loving myself through everything, and seeing other people as worthy, whatever they want to experience, and not attaching to their experience at all, and just honoring them as a divine being, and all of us together being a field of love. Wow. And as I'm practicing these things in all these ways, and I'm living in this frequency, this vibration, I literally am changing the planet and the new earth, the new being. We hold that field together. That's why I said at the beginning, the more we all awake, the more that becomes our reality. We get rid of scarcity altogether. We get rid of poverty consciousness. We get rid of sicknesses, disease, etc. So let me bring it back to Lakshmi. Okay. Now I go, okay, I want to create more abundance in my life. And so Lakshmi is my teacher. I'm looking to understand how she exudes the frequency of abundance, how she operates, how she believes the world to be, how she receives all these things. So now as I chant the chant of Lakshmi, which is Om Shri Mahalakshmi Ye Namaha. And the reason you have on a mala, guys, again, this one being my gift from Swamiji, an enlightened master that I was with in India, has 108 because you have 108 Vedas in your system, and or it's nadis, Vedas. Anyways, as you chant the 108 times, it hits every single one of those in your system that lights up with the sound frequency to match. So a mantra is a frequency, it's a vibration. And so when I can sit there and say this over and over, what I'm doing is now I'm holding the field, watching and focusing on Lakshmi, saying Lakshmi, like I'm saying, just saying her name is I'm speaking the frequency of abundance. So as I hold that field and I'm chanting this, and guys, this is how you take it up a notch. Like this morning, I was literally dancing around the whole pool, holding my mala and counting each beat as I said the Om Shri Mahalakshmi Ye Namaha, and I'm like playing and I'm dancing. I'm up leveling the frequency even more to be like I'm dancing and I'm playing as I do Om Kang Kang Ganapate Sharanam, which I'm wearing Ganesh, okay, which I was given. This was manifested out of thin air for me by Amma in India, and he said wear this every single day and do this chant. So Om Gam Ganapate Sharanam is the normal Ganesh mantra. Mine, specifically from Amma, is Om Kang Kang Ganapate Sharanam. I do that, and I'll do it playing in the water sometimes after my workout, and I'll get back to like what I do. But again, guys, it's all about just the whole day of frequency and how you can add these things into your day. And I have a self-empowerment coaching that teaches a lot about this too. But I'll dive into the water and I'll dance in the water and I'll play in the water and say the affirmations, or not the affirmations. I say my affirmations too, but I'll chant the mantra. So I'm chanting the mantra and I'm literally seeing, because Ganesh clears the path and removes the obstacles. So there's a couple that every single day I do. I do Ganesh, I do Lakshmi, a lot of times I do Narayani, and there's so much chanting that goes on every single day. I turn it on and I listen to chants playing again. It's playing in my field. The frequency is playing in my field. I'll have Lakshmi on repeat. Okay, so see how is there so much opportunity for you to magnify your field of frequency, and the frequency and the vibration that you're creating and living in every moment, which is the seed of your reality, is what's going to allow you to timeline hop and be receiving that reality. Okay, so as I magnify this, you could just sit, like I've done it in front of my altar many days, and I can just sit and do this. Just recently, it was like, oh, a whole new awareness of taking it to another level. It was Dallas, actually, a good friend who he had this idea. He's like, it feels good to move with my mantras. And so I was like, oh, that's a great idea. And I'm like first in the pool and I'm doing, my mantras, and I'm swimming and I'm playing and I'm dancing with it. And ever since, it's been like taking it to that next level of how do I feel the mantra even more? So let me bring it back to this. When I'm now I'm chanting the mantra of Lakshmi, what I want you to realize is that I am seeing this being as a divine being. Okay, so you might say, well, yeah, that's abundance, and I'm not abundance. But every single time you chant it, again, the sound frequency of your system is aligning to that vibration. And so you are becoming it. But also, when you recognize and remember this truth, is that if we are all things, you are every aspect of the human experience and the multidimensional divine experience. So this God essence frequency that represents abundance is just representing an essence that also exists within you. So if every cell of your being is made up of the universe, you are a microcosm of the macrocosm. So me as a being here, I am a reflection of the divine. That's why I know I am the divine. And see, now in this place now of doing all these things to align my frequency to that, and to believe that and know that and practice the things that are the vibration of that, it's like I can say I am the divine. I know I am. But before it was like, well, the divine is a divine being. I'm just this shitty human. I'm still learning to trust and believe or remember. Because again, as I told you, when we're choosing to change the vibrational reality and the frequency, what's going to come up? The things are going to come up for you to see that you get to heal and clear to align to being that frequency and vibration. So if you don't love yourself, and you're chanting Lakshmi, you're changing the frequency in your system to align to that, but something's going to come up for you to actually go, oh, how do I actually heal and see this, that I am worthy of the abundance? But that's shifting the cells in your being as you're just doing it. And this is what I want you to understand. It's when you no matter what you're experiencing, when you bring it back to the truth, you bring it back to the foundational truth. I call them like the laws of the universe, right? Like these are the principles of the universe, of how it operates. Is I can go, oh, okay, if I am all things, I am literally a microcosm of the macrocosm. As within, so without. As above, so below. I am a reflection. I can only be actually a reflection of what I see. So if I start to focus on Lakshmi and I remember, I am that too. I am that. And now as I continue to focus on her and I use the chants and mantras, I'm actually changing the vibration in my system. And now I implement practices. As I said, we go, if we're going to timeline hop, we're going to go, ooh, how can I see abundance everywhere? How can I see that, Lakshmi has blessed me in so many areas of my life? How can I be more like her, that I am choosing to see the world as abundance? There's so much we're all taken care of course. And I catch that story that there's not enough. And I go, oh, that's interesting. Oh, where did that come from? Sweetness, that's okay. Oh, that was a past reality. What's really true, look at Lakshmi's teaching us how. And I'm going to continue to focus on that vibration. So this is why I love mantras, guys, because they already hold a vibrational frequency of a certain essence. So every single god, goddess, deity, even if you're not into Hinduism or any of these things, again, guys, I went through my layers of spiritual evolution that opened up to all aspects of operating from my multidimensional gifts and seeing all the things that were available. And as that came into my field and I understood, it's just another unseen teacher that was carrying an essence. And I'm learning that essence from them. So I'm learning the essence of abundance from Lakshmi. So that's why in my practices, that is, I go from my breath work and doing my meditation to then I create the vibration. I create it with the chants and the movement and the play. Then I go into my visualization of holding that field and that frequency. Then in that feeling, okay, now everything we've been talking about is creating this frequency, living and being in this frequency, to then I'm in a state of like, and then I'll go into that visualizing, I'm smiling and I'm feeling it. And I'm like, and I can be doing this as I'm even doing my chants. I can be visualizing and seeing the life that I'm living in, like absolute luxury and abundance, fully supported as a spiritual divine being that is here as a light to just transmit and serve the world. And my personal mantra, my personal, you can again say declaration affirmation, again, when you align to it, that I know is mine, I say every day, is like, I am here to joyfully serve the divine and all of humanity and float because it's that easy, in a constant state of bliss, receiving all that I require, and from that bliss receiving all that I require. And I literally thank the universe for the massive, how it always effortlessly supports me in you know, the luxury and the support, and you know, it's and seeing all of it as that. So even guys, when shit hits the fan, I'm like, oh, thank you, Ganesh, for clearing the path. It's not, oh, this didn't work out, why is Ganesh not showing up for me? It's like, oh, Ganesh is clearing my path. This stuff that's being ripped out of my life or is being shed is him actually supporting me and clearing my path. And Lakshmi's coming in there and blessing it all with abundance, so that I'm like, oh, it's all like, so this gets cleared so I can align to the new vibration. The old me could only come so far. The new me holding this frequency, things got to show up to go, oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for that. Clear and heal that so I can now align to this new frequency. Do you get it? Now it's being in that state and holding that state. What are the actions and patterns, behaviors? So for me, after I do my vision and holding that field and that frequency, like creating the field of what I choose to be living in, which is literally like my ideal reality. It's what I'm living now, again, because I continue to do this. And then I go into movement. I love to go get in my workout. If it's a workout day, this morning I did yoga, you know, other days it's gym days, it's whatever feels good, but I move to feel good. And that's a whole other lesson on getting rid of the have to, I need to look this way, etc. That's all bullshit. Again, the more my energy and is like, ooh, this would feel good, this is how I take care of myself, I'm aligned to being worthy of the behaviors that give me a body of health and live and feel good, and my energy's good and my body's operating at optimal levels. So I do my movement, my exercise, and then I always, in my morning practice kind of time, I do study as well, but this is like the base, where I end it in play. That might be, now, since I have this gorgeous pool, show you guys this gorgeous pool that I have here at the resort. Literally every day after I'm done working out, I just strip down naked and I've jumped in the pool, and I might chant some more and I play some more, so I end in the frequency of play and love and joy, because that's the frequency and the vibration of the field, living in bliss, flow, consciousness. That's what I'm holding. So that's what I get to choose to be. So, and then for me, I always do study time. It's like, this is through, guys, these things, you might do them all in the morning, but again, my intention for you is to hear, how do I stay in the field through the day? The more you hold that vibrational field is how it's going to come into your reality. So it's like, I take some time and I do some studying, whether that be studying a course or, you know, so many things that I'm always consistently studying. I'm always listening to books. I'm always doing that. So it's like taking some time during the day to do that as well. But it's like, you can chunk this up to be in whatever spaces of the day work for you. And in my self-empowerment course, or, you know, audio coaching around that, it's like, do what works for you. Because it's not a have to, guys. It's not a to do. It's about, wow, how do I align to the desires of my life? How do I give myself love and honor myself and give myself permission to be creating my life and be in the field of it and be in the energy of it? And so it's like, my studies every day is just like helping me see even a greater understanding, be able to receive more. My movement and my exercise is just taking care of my divine vessel, that I'm worthy of feeling good. My chants and my mantras are me like being that frequency and that vibration of you know, the ultimate abundance and pure ease and bliss and joy. Why wouldn't I give that to myself every day? So these practices are just the behaviors that you begin to, again, every single day, inch by inch. I always say inch by inch, life is a cinch. So it's like, every single inch you're taking, if every day you're like, how many times a day can I be abundance? Can I do a chant? Can I look in the mirror and give myself love? Can I give someone else love? How many times a day can I do things that are exuding and expressing the frequency of what I want? That is the practice. Okay. And whether it be you take, you know, your self-empowerment study time, you take your, you know, the exercise could be later, whatever, you can move it around however you want. There's no set morning routine, again, because there's no have to's and shoulds. It always gets to be what resonates for you, what would feel good for you, and how do you get to dance and play with it. and start to play with these things to allow you to practice upgrading your frequency. Because that's all these things are anyways, is they're just to upgrade our frequency. So I love that you guys are still with me. I don't even know how long I've been going. But I feel like that's pretty complete. That's the stuff that I really wanted to share, is how you can connect the energy and vibration to the frequencies that you feel like are too far outside of yourself. How can you bring that into your reality now? How you can practice in all these ways? What are all the ways that you get to practice being this frequency? And that's it. It's pure love, my friends. So please, if you have any questions that weren't clear for you, please do in the comments, and I will definitely check in the comments and give you any suggestions. I know I kind of talked about lots of other little things, so that if there's, you're like, hey, what were the freedom activators you're talking about, to walk through how to consciously walk through every single piece of resistance. There's something that will teach you how to do that. There's lots of spaces for support, guys. It's all I'm here to do is serve the divine and humanity in pure bliss and joy. And I'm obviously an open channel. And so when the stuff just wants to come through, it just comes pouring through. And so we went a lot of places, but I love you guys. And I truly hope that you recognize that you can experience any reality you want. Like, timeline hopping is a reality. I've experienced it to the degree, I'll share a quick story of how when I was in Europe for one of my Ascension Adventure retreats, after we were in Venice, and we literally ended up having this whole, they have the boats in Europe, and you have to, get on the right boat. And we ended up getting on the wrong boat, where our stop was supposed to be 3 minutes away. And then we were all going and getting our cars and driving to the airport, and had plenty of time for us to get to the airport. We had people flying out, and we ended up getting on the wrong boat, which didn't take us just 3 minutes one way. It took us the other way and went all the way around like Venice. And so it ended up being like, it put us an hour off. And so all of it was like, oh, interesting, perfect. There's always for reasons, always get to. And I feel like this showed up so that I could truly experience timeline hopping, like integrate it into my being in a whole nother way. And we get into the cars, and it was a 3-hour drive or something, with no traffic, to be able to get to the airport in time for the peeps that were flying out. And we literally had an hour and a half till that time period that they had to be checking in at the airport. And that would have been 3 hours with no traffic. And I literally was like, you know what? I see it. I saw in the future. I saw us at the airport. I saw the clock, the time that we would arrive at the airport. And I literally said, I see it now. Like, I'm going to timeline hop us, bitches. Like, this is happening. And I'm driving, and I was driving pretty fast, because I'm like, and yet we hit traffic and were stopped in traffic several times. And I literally just, as I was driving, I kept envisioning our car like time hopping through, like, it's almost like it drives through an invisible dimension, and we come out on the other side, and we're 30 minutes ahead of where we were. And I kept seeing this as I was driving. I just kept seeing us timeline hop, and I kept seeing us just being bounced into future possibilities of places. And long story short, guys, this was even, like I said, we hit traffic several times and we're stopped, and everyone was like, there's no way. We got there at the exact time that I saw in my vision. I saw, and I said, we will be at that place at this time. And I just kept holding the field the entire time I'm driving. I talked to my little boy on the way. The peeps are all in the car. We're talking to my babes. My Gavin the Great called us, and we're like, yeah, we're still in our retreat. We're timeline hopping right now. Like, I was speaking it into existence. I kept saying to all the peeps in the car, I was like, we are timeline hopping, guys. Like, all of us hold that field. We are going to be there at the time. Everything works out in flow and perfect ease for us. And I also was not attached. I was like, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. We buy another ticket, because I'm all about flow and ease. So again, notice my vibration and that frequency. And as I just held that state, we showed up, and literally there's no way in reality it could have happened. It was a 3-hour drive with no traffic. We hit traffic several times, and we had less than an hour and a half to get there. And we got there, and actually we got there actually early. We everyone was holding their pee for a while. We got time. We stopped, we peed, everything. Still got there at the exact same time that I said. And that was like, I was like, timeline hopping is a total reality. So that's like an extreme to it, right? Like shifting my timeline right now. And this is the same possibility. So notice how fast your timeline, you can weave into your time. You can weave in a new timeline, I'll say, into your reality right now. the more you choose that everything you're doing and every seed, everything you're doing is a seed to your reality. So how much more you choose to consistently hold this frequency and vibration is how fast it can shift. And I'll give you one other example that's coming through, and I see I got a question. Would you clarify about when you call on the beings of light? You mentioned that on, let me see if I can see this whole, oh, I can't see the whole comment. Carol, I'm going to look at your question after because I can't see the whole comment, but I do have one other thought and example for you guys of this, okay? So this hit me the other day before this place, the place that I was in, and I was, man, guys, like doing some massive clearing stuff and been in deep surrender about where my channel gets to go, how I get to serve more beings, and just like being with, like, you know, again, when resistance shows up, it's like, ah, interesting, why is this and where do I get to go? And I went from doing all my chanting and my stuff to, I walked out to the pool and I see this, I don't even know what it was, some sort of bug. Its wings were in the pool and it's like, I'm dying, right? Like it's literally gonna drown. And I see it and I'm like, oh, hey, baby. And I grab its wings and I pull it out of the pool. It shakes off and it goes on its way. And I'm thinking, oh my God, that is literally the possibilities always available for us. Here, he's literally like, there's nothing to save him. He's in an entire pool, about to drown, she, on, you know, in their deathbed, right? In death mode right now, like literally going under. And all of a sudden this giant, just me, walks out. And it's like, oh, here you go. That is, it's like, and when I recognize there's times in my experience, as I focused on the vibrational field I wanted to hold, that, you know, I remember the first time I did like a, was it a $120,000 deal on one phone call at the beach, and I was like, whoa, oh my gosh. And then it was a $250,000 hour, and then it was a $500,000 hour, and it was like, if I can, that can just drop into my reality. And everyone's always like, how did you, when they wanted structure and systems, I was like, it's the alignment. So I'll repeat here something I've said a lot, which is not about the systems, it's about your alignment. You can't receive based on all the business systems, everything else. If you're out of alignment in frequency, it'll keep having resistance. So it's like, how do you align to that? And so what I do know is at any moment, even though you might feel like your whole reality around you is like, this looks like shit and it's hard and I don't see the way, but you're choosing to hold that field of love for yourself and whatever you're in, and knowing it's the pathway being cleared, like Ganesh is clearing the pathway for you to receive. You can't receive until it's been destroyed. You can't put new clothes in the closet until you take out some clothes. You can't receive the new, and like the new, you can't evolve into the next level of frequency tools until you shed the old, and the old don't apply anymore. So it's kind of this surrender into learning the new and being the new. And as you're holding that field and that vibration, just like that, something can drop in and go, boom, here you go. And you're like, I receive in that big of a way, in that big of a shift. And that's why my experience has been such massive shifting constantly, because I live in constant evolution. Everything is intentional. Everything is about frequency and vibration. I've studied frequency for a really long time. It's what my genius is. It's where I teach people to find the gaps that are out of alignment so that they can catapult into their new reality. So it is there for you and available. It's how much are you willing to embrace it? How much are you willing to exude that frequency yourself and choose all of your patterns and behaviors to align to that? So that's what I'm going to leave you guys with. I love you so much. I will check the comments. If you guys have any other questions for me, just please feel free to ask me. I can guide you to where there might be another free training that I've done, or there might be an audio, or, you know, and obviously I do tons of free trainings and coachings in my tribe all the time, and they have access to all of my programs too. So that might be a support assistance. All I care about is that we're all, the more we awake together and the more we rise in love, the more we hold this vibrational field to operate in a life where all of us are in prosperity and joy and bliss and flow and abundance and health and ease and grace, because that is our true nature and that is our true birthright. So the more that I can do to assist you in those, that remembrance and awakening for yourself, and the more that if I just choose to even be this essence, hopefully you can feel that essence and hold that. The more we can hold it together, we all get to have it. So I love you guys. I hope that assisted, and please let me know if there's anything else I can do to support you. Go create an amazing, wonderful day, evening, wherever you are at in the world, and hold that vibrational light. And I'm holding it for you as well. I love you.